Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Today, inshallah, we're going to solve Cambridge exam October-November 2022, paper 21. Let's start it. Question 1. The diagram shows change of state between solid, liquid, and a gas. As we can see, we have 4 changes in state, in which a change of state is energy being given out. We know that gas particles at higher energy level and have more kinetic energy than the liquid particles, and the liquid particles at higher energy level than the solid particles. So changing from gas to liquid means the particle will lose energy and energy will be given out. The change number 4 is condensation. And changing from liquid to solid, particles will also lose energy, which is in freezing, and energy will be given out. So the change of state will in which the energy being given out is 3 and 4. Number 2. A colored dye is separated by chromatography. One component of the dye moves a distance of 13 centimeters and has an RF value of 0.86. Which distance the solvent front move? Okay, we have the RF value equal to the distance moved by the sample divided by the distance moved by the solvent. So we have the RF value, which is 0.86, and the dye, the distance moved by the dye, which is the sample, is 13. So you will calculate the distance moved by the solvent, which will be 15.1 centimeter. Question 3. A mixture contains salt, sand, and sulfur. We have salt can dissolve in water but not in xylene. The sulfur dissolves in xylene but not in water, and the sand doesn't dissolve in water or xylene. So salt dissolve in water and sulfur dissolve in xylene. So we can start separation of these 3 components from the mixture according to solubility. What is the order of the process used to separate the salt, the sand, and the sulfur from the mixture? We can start by adding water to dissolve the salt, then we will filter the water, and we will add the xylene to the residue because the residue contains sulfur. After that, the sand will remain. Or we can do the reverse. We can add xylene, so the sulfur will be separated in the filtrate, and the salt and the sand will be left in the residue. So we will add water in the residue to separate the salt. Here we have the answer is number B, adding water, filter, then we add xylene to the residue and filter again. Number A and C is wrong because we are adding xylene or water to the filtrate, not to the residue, and this is why it's wrong. And number 4 is wrong because we are adding xylene 2 times. Here we have xylene and xylene. Xylene to the mixture and then xylene to the residue. So number D is wrong. We have to add water, then add xylene, or the reverse. So the answer is B. Question 4. Which statement about isotopes of the same elements are correct? Isotopes are atoms which have the same chemical properties. Yes, they have the same chemical properties because they have the same number of electrons in their outer shell. They have the same number of protons and the same number of electrons, so this statement is correct. They are atoms which have the same number of electrons and neutrons. This word is wrong because they don't have the same number of neutrons and different number of protons. This is also wrong. They are atoms that have the same number of electrons and proton but different number of neutrons. This statement 3 is correct because this is the definition of isotopes. So we have 2 statements, 1 and 3 is correct, and the answer will be B. Question 5. Which type of structure and bonding present in an element which is malleable and conduct electricity? These are the properties of metals. They are malleable, ductile, and conduct electricity. So these properties of the metallic lattice, and the answer is D. Which statement about potassium bromide are correct? Potassium bromide is ionic compound, so we will search for the correct information about ionic compound. It has a high melting point, yes. It dissolves in water, so we have 1 is correct and 2 is correct. It conducts electricity when solid, and this is wrong for ionic compound. Ionic compound only conduct electricity when they are molten or in aqueous solution, so only 1 and 2 is correct, and the answer is A. Which statement has similar structure? Which substance has a similar structure to silicon oxide? We know that diamond has a similar structure to silicon oxide, so the answer is B. Question 8. Caffeine is a stimulant found in coffee. Which formula represents caffeine? Here we want the molecular formula, and the molecular formula is written by the number of each atom present in the compound. So we have carbon, nitrogen, hydrogen, and oxygen. We will count how many carbon atoms, how many nitrogen, how many oxygen and hydrogen. So this will be the molecular formula of the compound. Here we have 8 carbon atoms shown in the yellow color, 10 hydrogens and 4 nitrogen, 2 oxygen. The answer is C. Question 9. We have 4.55 grams of zinc reacted with 50 centimeter cube of 2.25 mole per decimeter cube dilute hydrochloric acid, and the equation of the reaction is shown. So here we have the mass of zinc and the volume and the concentration of hydrochloric acid. Which volume of hydrogen gas at room temperature and pressure is produced in the reaction? Here we have information to calculate the number of moles of zinc and number of moles of hydrochloric acid. So we will determine both the number of moles of zinc and the number of moles of hydrochloric acid, and we compare to know which one is in excess. First, number of moles of hydrochloric acid will be the concentration multiplied by the volume. Here I divide 50 by 1000 to get the volume in decimeter cube. So number of moles of hydrochloric acid will be 0.1125. This is the number of moles of hydrochloric acid. Then number of moles of zinc will be the mass, which is 4.55, divide the MR of zinc, which is 65. So number of moles is 0.07. Now we will go to the equation. The ratio of number of moles of zinc to hydrochloric acid is 1 to 2. So we should have double the number of moles for hydrochloric acid. If we calculate double the number of moles of 0.07, it will be 0.14, and here we have only 0.11. So number of moles of hydrochloric acid is less than 0.14. That means zinc is in excess. Zinc is in excess. We don't have the ratio from 1 to 2. The number of moles of hydrochloric acid is not double the zinc. So we will divide the number of moles of hydrochloric acid by 2 to get the number of moles of zinc that is already reacted, which is 0.05. So this is the number of moles of zinc. And because the ratio of zinc to hydrogen is 1 to 1, so number of moles of hydrogen is also 0.05, which is equal to the volume divided 24. So the volume of hydrogen gas will be 1.35 decimeter cube, and the answer is A. Question 10. We have a diagram for electrolysis in which oxidation happened at electrode 1 and reduction happened at electrode 2. Then the question is, which row shows the direction of movement of electrons in the external circuit? So we will draw the direction here on the wire, direction of moving electrons in the external circuit, and the direction of the positive ions in the electrolyte. The positive ions move from the electrolyte, as we can see, from one electrode to another. So we have two informations. Here we have reduction on electrode 2 and oxidation in electrode 1. Number 2, we have movement of ions from one electrode to another. So that means these electrodes are not inert. They are not inert. That means the ions will move from electrode in which we have oxidation to the one in which we have reduction, like what happened in electroplating. Here we have at the cathode the object to be plated, and at the anode we have the metal which we use to electroplate. So at the cathode there is reduction. So the silver ions, if we're gonna electroplate with silver ions in the solution will move to the cathode and gain one electron to convert to silver metal and deposit on this spoon. And silver metal from the anode will lose electron and replace the silver ion in solution. So the positive ion will move from the anode to the cathode. And when silver metal at the anode lose electron and converted to silver ions, the electron move in the external circuit as it is going this way. So the direction of electron will be in the external circuit this way, and the direction of positive ions will be from electrode 1 to electrode 2. And in the external circuit will be also from 1 to 2. So the answer will be A. If you try drawing this for also electrorefining, you will find the same answer, the positive ions from electrode 1 to electrode 2, and the electrons in the external circuit from 1 to 2, because these electrodes are not inert. And the answer will be A. When acid, question 11, when acid is added to an alkali, the temperature of the reaction mixture rises. When the temperature rises, that means it's an exothermic reaction. So which word describes the reaction? It's an exothermic reaction, and the type of reaction between acid and alkali is neutralization. The answer is D. Some of the properties of fuel are shown. Which fuel is gas at room temperature and makes two products when it burns? Okay, so let's check which one is a gas at room temperature. We have hydrogen and methane are gases, but of course octane and wax are not gases. So when hydrogen burns, it gives only one product, which is water. Here we want a fuel that gives two products. So methane, when burns, it gives carbon dioxide and water, and it's a gas. So the answer is B. Question 13. Ethene can undergo complete combustion as shown here. Some bond energies are shown in the table, and he already gave me the energy change of the reaction, which is minus 1408 kilojoule per mole. What is the bond energy of C double bond O in the carbon dioxide? So we're going to calculate the energy of the reactant, the energy need to break the bonds of the reactant, and subtracting the energy released when making new bonds of the products to get this number, which is the energy change of the reactant. So here the total energy, or the energy change for the reaction, is the energy needed to break the bonds minus the energy released. We have the energy change, which is minus 1408, and we calculate the energy need to break the bonds. We have carbon double bond carbon and 4 carbon hydrogen, 3 double bond oxygen. So these are the values of the energy needed to break the bonds. So we can easily know the energy released. The energy released will be this value plus this one. So it will be 5,156. This is the energy released. The energy released when forming new bonds, we have 4 carbon double bond oxygen and 4 hydrogen oxygen bonds. So this number, which is 5,156, equal to 4 oxygen double bond carbon and 4 hydrogen oxygen bonds. So we can easily get the value of 4 carbon double bond oxygen, which is 3,304, and we will divide it by 4 to get the value of only 1 carbon double bond oxygen, which will be 826 kilojoule per mole. So by dividing 3,304 by 4, we get the value of only 1 carbon double bond oxygen, which will be 826 kilojoule per mole, and the answer will be C. Question 14. A student add excess zinc to dilute hydrochloric acid at 25 degrees Celsius. The hydrogen gas produced is collected at room temperature and pressure. And we plot the result on curve X. Then we repeat the experiment at 50 degrees with all other conditions remaining the same. Which graph shows the result at 50? Because 50 is higher temperature than 25, so the rate of reaction will be higher, and we have a steeper curve and the curve will end earlier than the original curve, but we have all the conditions are kept the same. So we have the same volume and concentration of dilute hydrochloric acid. Of course, we will get the same volume of hydrogen gas. So here we have curve B, which has the same volume of hydrogen gas like X, but the reaction is faster. It ends earlier than X, and the curve is steeper, and it's closer to the y-axis with the same volume of hydrogen gas. So the answer is B. 15. Nitrogen tetroxide is converted into nitrogen dioxide, and the reaction is reversible. The forward reaction is endothermic. Which condition gives the highest equilibrium yield of nitrogen dioxide? The forward reaction is endothermic, and the endothermic is favored by high temperature, so we should choose high temperature as the condition. As for the pressure, we have 2 moles on the right side and only 1 mole on the left side. To shift the reaction to the right side to get higher yield of nitrogen dioxide, we should decrease the pressure to go to the side with the highest number of moles. So here we will choose the answer A, the lowest pressure and high temperature, for getting the highest equilibrium yield of nitrogen dioxide. 16. When magnesium is heated with zinc oxide, the reaction occurs. The equation is as shown. Which substance is oxidized? As we can see from the equation, magnesium gains oxygen, so magnesium oxidized, and the answer is A. 17. The diagram shows an experiment. Here we have solid Q, and we are adding aqueous P from the burette, and a gas collected here in the gas syringe. A small volume of aqueous P is poured into the solid Q, so we are adding P from the burette into the solid Q, and the tab of the funnel is closed. Which pairs of substance cause the syringe to be filled with gas? So we will go the reaction which produce gases. Here we have metal, magnesium with nitric acid, copper with hydrochloric acid, and sodium carbonate with sulfuric acid. Of course, magnesium is a highly reactive metal, so it will react with the acid to give hydrogen gas, but copper will not react because copper is below hydrogen in the reactivity series, so it will not react with the acid. Here we have sodium carbonate with the acid. Of course, it will react and give carbon dioxide gas, so we will choose an answer for column 1 and column 3 only, and for copper it will be wrong. The answer is C. 18. Ethanoic acid react with water to produce acidic solution. Which row describes the role of ethanoic acid in water in the reaction? Ethanoic acid is an acid, so of course it will donate a proton, and this proton will be accepted by water, so water will accept the proton, and the answer will be C. Question 19. Aqueous ammonium sulfate is made by reacting aqueous ammonia with dilute sulfuric acid. Ammonium sulfate is a soluble salt, so how is the solid ammonium sulfate obtained from the resulting solution? Because it's soluble salt, so it will be in the filtrate, so we're going to make crystallization to obtain the salt, the solid, from the solution. The answer is A. Question 20. Carbon atoms form two oxides, carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide. Which row describes these two oxides? We know that carbon dioxide is acidic, and of course carbon monoxide is neutral, so the answer will be C. 21. Group 2 elements show the same trend as group 1 element. Which statement about the elements of group 2 is correct? Here group 2 shows the same trend as group 1, so as we go down the group, the melting point will decrease, reactivity will increase, and the density will increase. Here I have the elements of group 2, beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, and barium. So we're going to choose the same trend of group 1. The melting point of barium is higher than the melting point of calcium. This is wrong because the melting point decreases down the group. So the first one is wrong. Barium is more reactive than beryllium. This is correct because barium below beryllium and the reactivity increase as we go down. So the answer will be B. C and D is also wrong because strontium wouldn't react with oxygen. This is incorrect. Strontium is more reactive than calcium, so it will react with oxygen. Magnesium is more dense than barium. This is wrong because we said that the density increases as we go down. So the answer will be B. Question 21. Information about the properties of group 1 element is shown. Here we have group 1 elements, melting point and density. As we go down group 1, the melting point decreases and the density increases. So we should complete here two numbers, X and Y. And for the density, we should predict the number of Z. So the melting point decreases as we go down, so X should be less than 98 and Y should be less than X. And here the density, we could predict that the number increases here, then again increases at Z, so we will get a higher number than 0.97 for the value of Z. So we will go to the table. Here we have X 63, which is less than 97, and then Y, which is less than X, it's 39, and the value of Z is greater than 0.97, so the answer is D. Question 23. Which statement describes the properties of transition elements? They form colored compound. Yes, this is a correct statement. They have variable oxidation state. Another correct statement. They have low density. This is wrong because they have high density and they are not volatile. So the answer will be only 1 and 2, and the answer will be A. 24. Which statement about the extraction of aluminium by electrolysis is correct? Aluminium is extracted from an ore called cryolite. Of course not. The ore is called bauxite. So A is wrong. B. Aluminium is formed at the positive electrode. This is also wrong because aluminium is a positive ion, so it will be attracted to the negative electrode. C. Bauxite is used to lower the temperature of the extraction process. This is wrong also because cryolite is used to lower the temperature. D. Graphite is used for both positive and negative electrode, and this is a correct statement, so the answer will be D. Question 25. Copper 2 nitrate and zinc carbonate are heated strongly in separate test tubes. So here we will get thermal decomposition for the copper nitrate and zinc carbonate. These are the product of decomposition for nitrate: copper oxide, nitrogen dioxide, and oxygen gas. For decomposition of zinc carbonate, we will have zinc oxide and carbon dioxide gas. So here, what are the gases produced? On this side, nitrate, we have two gases, nitrogen dioxide and oxygen. And here for carbonate, we only have carbon dioxide gas. So the answer will be A. 26. Iron from the blast furnace can be converted to steel. Which statement about the steel is correct? Steel contains more carbon than the iron obtained from the blast furnace. Of course, this is wrong. Steel contains less carbon. 2. Steel is produced by blowing oxygen through the iron. This is a correct statement. And calcium oxide is added to the molten iron to remove basic oxide. This is wrong because calcium oxide is basic, so it will remove acidic oxide. We have only statement 2 is correct, and the answer is D. 27. Which metal is used to galvanize steel? Galvanization is a process done using the metal zinc, so the answer will be D. 28. The diagram shows the stage of purification of dirty water. We have layers of sand, fine gravel, then coarse gravel. This process, of course, used to remove large particles from water, so this process is filtration. 29. Which substance is polluted? Air damage the stoneworks and kill trees. Because it damages the stoneworks and kill trees, so it is due to the acidity. It contributes in acid rain. This is sulfur dioxide because it dissolves in water to give an acid which can destroy the stonework and increase the acidity of the soil, which kills trees. So the answer is D, sulfur dioxide. Question 30. Which row explain why we use high temperature and iron catalyst in the manufacture of ammonia in Haber process? This is the condition of this is the equation of Haber process. Nitrogen plus hydrogen, it gives ammonia. Why we are using high temperature and iron catalyst in Haber process? So we are using high temperature to increase the rate of reaction, of course, and the catalyst to increase the rate of reaction, because the catalyst has no effect on the equilibrium yield, so all this statement is wrong. Only increase the rate of reaction, and the high temperature is also for increasing the rate of reaction, so the answer is B. 31. The scheme shows 4 stages in the conversion of sulfur to sulfuric acid. In which stage a catalyst is used? We know that the catalyst is used in the contact process, in which sulfur dioxide change into sulfur trioxide. So here the catalyst is used in stage B, converting sulfur dioxide to sulfur trioxide in the contact process. 32. Which element has an oxide that is used in the food preservative? We are using sulfur dioxide as food preservative, so the element is sulfur, and the answer is D. Question 33. Which substance gives off carbon dioxide on heating? We know that the decomposition of carbonate gives carbon dioxide by heating, so limestone is calcium carbonate. The answer is B. 34. Which formula represents ethanol? Ethanol is CH3CH2OH, and the answer is C. Question 35. Which statement about the structural isomers is correct? They have the same structure but different reactivity. Of course, they don't have the same structure. The structural isomer have different structure but the same molecular formula. So statement 1 is wrong. They have the same general formula but different number of carbon atoms in their molecule. We just said that they have the same molecular formula, so they have the same number of carbon atom. Statement B is wrong. C, they have the same structure but different relative molecular mass. This is wrong. They have the same molecular mass but different structure. D, they have different structure but the same number of each type of atom, and this one is correct. Same number of each type of atom, that means is the same molecular formula and different structural formula, so the answer is D. Question 36. Which formula is the same in methanol, ethanol, and propanol? Methanol, ethanol, and propanol, they are all alcohols, so they have the same general formula, which is CnH2n plus 1 OH. So we will choose the same general formula. The answer is B. Question 37. Ethene react with water under suitable conditions. Which statement about this reaction is correct? Here I draw the reaction of ethene, addition of water or hydration. The product of the reaction has an MR of 46. So addition of water to ethene, we will break the double bond, adding one H and one OH. And we will calculate the MMR for the product. It will be 46 as we can see, so A is correct. The reaction produced two different products. No, addition gives only one product. The reaction with ethene gas is bubbled into cold water in the presence of acid. This is not the condition of the reaction because ethene react with steam under 300 degrees Celsius, so it is not cold water. The reaction is a redox reaction. No, so we will choose A. The product of the reaction has a molecular mass of 46. Here I calculated the mass of the product, which is 46, and the answer is A. 38. Ethanoic acid is made by reacting ethanol with acidified potassium manganate. Which type of reaction when ethanol reacts with acidified potassium manganate? Acidified potassium manganate is oxidizing agent which oxidizes ethanol to ethanoic acid, so the reaction is oxidation. The answer is C. Question 39. Which structure represent trirene? So trirene is a polyester in which we will search for the ester linkage, and the ester linkage is like this. One monomer contain carboxylic acid and the other molecule contain a hydroxyl group, and they connect together by removing one molecule of water. So here the answer will be C, because we have the ester linkage as shown, two different molecules. One, the black one, is the carboxylic acid, and the white one is the alcohol that contain the hydroxide group, so the answer is C. Question 40. The equation shows the formation of polymer called cavilar, and the polymer formed from two monomers. The first one has two amino group, one from each side, and the second one contain carboxylic group also from each side. They join together by removing one molecule of water to form this polymer with amide linkage in between the two monomers. So which row describe cavilar? The polymer formed by addition or condensation, and the type of polymer is polyamide, polyester. So we could choose that. As we can see, it contains amide linkage, so this polymer is polyamide, and of course the amide polymer formed by condensation, polymerization, so we will choose here. The answer is C, condensation, polymerization, and the type of polymer is polyamide. The answer is C. Here we come to the end of our exam. Comment down below if you have any question. Like the video and subscribe to the channel to receive all the updates. Thank you for watching. Wish you all best of luck.